Thank you, Dharma Masters, and esteemed faculty and staff, DRBU, a heartfelt prayer of gratitude for Venerable Master Hua, all the lineage before him, and the respected disciples that have continued such pure intention to not only spread Buddhaji's message, but more importantly, practice and imbibe them. And to you, the virtuous class of 2024, congratulations for arriving on such a beautiful summit of your life journey. In our culture in India, we touch the feet of souls that go on a pilgrimage, whether it's a walking pilgrimage or a pilgrimage of the heart or the mind. So just in honor of your journey and pilgrimage. And being at DRBU, it is definitely that. It is a pilgrimage. So thank you for walking this path on behalf of not only yourselves, but the world. To be quite honest, I feel a little unworthy to be standing here in front of you all and to be asked to share in such a virtuous space. Spaces like these are awe-inspiring and humbling because of the purity of the intention that anchors it. So who am I, one who has been brought up and thrived in the material realms of the world, studied in a respected institution, who thrives on capitalism and survival of the fittest, and a journey in the sphere of the business of music where ego and greed fuel the beautiful path? Who am I to share any words of wisdom today? But I guess as I was reflecting, I found there was one connection that I had to this space, similar to many of ours maybe, and that has been that of self-inquiry. The seeking of a better path, the desire to reduce suffering of myself and reduce the suffering of others. The journey of the realization that in the service of others lies our own liberation. So my dear graduates, or shall I say pilgrims, you have traversed far, but more importantly, deep in this community. Your inquiry has explored ancient texts in order to bring wisdom to the modern context. You have summoned the collective's treasure chest of wisdom and reflection to feed each other's souls, minds, and hearts. And with this, you will embark back into the valley of action and interaction with the so-called others, whoever they may be, whether they may be back here at DRBU, in your respective communities or congregations, in the realms of jobs or families or other pursuits that you may embrace. But from this heartfelt exploration at DRBU, deep seeds have definitely been planted. I spent a long time running. I never knew then what I know now. That the fruits, they always come in, but you can't go around just knocking them down. It takes a long time to show in. We plant the seeds then, and we look at them now. But the roots are always growing, no matter if I'm there or never around. On this path forward towards life's pursuit, towards finding peace and purpose, towards balancing the inner and the outer worlds, there are 3 C's that stand out for me that I know you all know very deeply as well, that have played a big role in my life journey, and that I just wanted to humbly remind you of as you're cleaning out and packing up to make sure you take along with you. These 3 C's are commitment, cultivation, and connection to your inner child. The first, commitment. If you don't mind joining me actually in a minute of silence before I share. Thank you. I think somebody put an alarm on for the minute I heard a beep. I was thinking to myself, how could I spend a minute of silence during a graduation speech? And then the word commitment came back to me. For there will be many excuses for us not to practice and to not keep on our inner work. For life gets busy, as we all know, places to go, people to see, meetings to do. While at DRBU, inner work was supported, but it may not be elsewhere. Thus, commitment to the inner practice, to the continued work on self. One of my favorite quotes is by Khalil Gibran. Said, "Make your daily life your temple and your religion." So it's not every Sunday, but every day, every moment. When I moved to Ahmedabad, Gujarat, in India, 15 years ago, I tried to make a change from my previous so-called life and learn what it means to serve and try to reduce the suffering I had been feeling inside. So I started working with 16 children from impoverished communities to create a musical that we were planning to eventually perform publicly. It was an interesting challenge. Do I focus only on my service project to help my children grow and create an amazing show? Or do I equally focus on the virtues and habits that I wanted to cultivate within? I soon realized that the latter was the key to a more sustainable spirit in living. That even if I was doing the most pious work, if I was not focused on the inner work, the constant recalibration of self, it would soon become an ego-based journey to try to make impact and take credit for it. So though taking care of my children was important, so was daily meditation and various other personal practices. In working with my 16 kids, we ended up creating a wonderful show and miraculously got passports for these children who don't even have addresses and visas to the US and to the UK for our 25 team members to tour the children's show across the world. It was a big deal. From 1,000 people shows with standing ovations to media coverage by the BBC network to Disneyland, the White House, and much, much more. We had done it all with our children. Upon returning back to India, there was a lot of pressure on me to build up on this momentum, this global momentum that we had created, and build something bigger that even had more impact. As I reflected inwards, I realized my ego was getting tempted towards the glamour of impact and recognition that I was receiving. And as I meditated more and quieted the mind when we returned, the heart guided me towards the need to step back and detach from this visible work. In any previous effort in life, the obvious next step would have been to parlay the results into something greater. But in this case, for the first time in my life, I was lucky and blessed to prioritize the importance of rewiring this attachment that I had to rewards and recognition. This was the inner work. It was difficult to accept, but it was what was needed. I decided to let go of any idea of continuing to further build this project and instead decided to do, quote unquote, nothing, except for small acts of service with our NGO and mentoring my children. This decision to let go has by far been one of the biggest achievements in my life. It helped me develop inner capacities of detachment from the image of myself that I had created, detachment from the expectation of others, patience, faith, presence to the small things in daily life that matter so much more. And as many of us have experienced, when our intentions are pure, the world somehow conspires. 11 months into this inner work, silence, stillness, small acts of love break I was taking, came an itch again to write music. I had stopped writing music 5 years prior. I had no intention to write music again. But from this space of stillness arose my journey in Empty Hands music. And so I look at this moment as a gift to say, how do we go back to zero? Many times we want to be a hero, but how do we go back to that zero? Next time you struggle between the mind and the heart, choose the heart's voice. This is the inner work, discerning between the egoic mind and the heart, and leaning into the heart's nudge. So commitment, cultivation, and connection to your inner child. The second C is cultivation, cultivation of your heart. May you all never stop on the journey of cultivating your hearts. Compassion is a virtue deeply instilled here at DRBU, and may it continue to be a journey of expansion as you walk forward. As a small symbol of this heart-based journey you will embark on, you are already embarking. I share with you these hearts that are made by women in our underprivileged communities. Their life journeys are commendable in and of itself, and I hope these hearts serve as just a humble reminder to let this organ continue to lead the way. Sorry if I'm breaching protocol of any sort. When we talk about compassion, I feel it's the most important, for all virtues fall short if we don't strengthen our compassion and humility. I love this prayer by a dear brother of ours, Nipun Mehta. His father wrote this very special prayer. And I'll translate it first in English, and then I'll sing it in Gujarati. Please cultivate my heart in a way that makes you, Lord, want to rest here. Please cultivate my heart in a way that makes it as sacred as a temple. Prabhu neherevanu man thai evu hridaya banavu maru mandir kehvanu man thai evu hridaya banavu maru. So cultivation of the heart. One formula that has emerged for me that I find helpful, so I'm sharing with you, to cultivate one's heart, are three elements. And I think many have been talked about today already. One is noble friendship. The container, the ecosystem that without we cannot practice, it is very difficult to practice. So how do we create that container and support system as we move forward for ourselves? Small acts of love, the muscle building through small acts of love and kindness. And the last is service, a way of being. Once you start integrating these three into your daily life, you will soon become enlisted, as Jin Xuanshi and Jin Weisher say, the CIA. Do you guys know what the CIA is? What? Compassion in action. Hope you guys get to join that group. I know you all are. In 2014, I had released a music album called Empty Hands, 10 songs, and decided to do a 7-month tour across America with a rental car to go to all the places that I had been invited to. And my dear sister, Audrey Lynn, who's right here, agreed to join me on this journey across America. Her noble friendship truly guided the ship away from being a concert tour to being a service pilgrimage. And I remember, while we were being invited to perform and many times seen in the light of a celebrity, we didn't accept that invitation. For us, we were blessed to have an opportunity to serve through this platform. And I remember a few different events. One, we were going to Ganges, Michigan. We arrived there, and the next-door neighbor to the hall that we were going to be doing the concert in that night, Shakti, we found she was going through a house cleaning. So then Audrey and I are like, all right, let's not get ready for the event. Let's go clean her house. And then for the next 6 hours, we were just helping Shakti clean her house. And we actually took over her house, I think, Odds. But I love it because, this was supposed to be a tour. Visiting Jasper's home. We were in Maryland, and this young boy comes up to us. His mother comes up to us the night before at a concert. He's like, Jasper was really inspired. And we're like, Sophie, can we get your home address? We'll surprise him in the morning. But that journey of turning it from some work to a pilgrimage, through just finding ways that our heart could connect to other hearts. I remember us taking a detour to Ohio on our way to Michigan because our brother Conrad was soon to pass away from cancer. And we had the blessing to host a Zoom call for him if we went to his home so that he could share his life story with others. So noble friendships, small acts of love, service. This process taught me that music was not a form of entertainment or inspiration, but that it could actually be a tool to love and serve. And like this, we all have whatever it is that we have as our assets, our skills, our offerings. And how do we use compassion as a tool to allow that skill, that talent to be served? May we all take action in compassion and surround ourselves with noble friends and keep exercising our muscle of love and service through small acts. There is no deeper spiritual path than a heart that is cultivated to love and serve. Throw your hearts up, let it fly high, let your love for all the world spread through the skies. Let it drop down, let it all go, spreading kindness to every single living soul. Can you see a love for me shining through? Because what you see in me, I can see in you. And soon enough, you and me will be out of time, and kindness will be all we can leave behind. Commitment, cultivation, and connection to your inner child. And the third, actually, to me, is the most important, your connection to your inner child. If we are here today at this commencement, we are likely to have committed to our inner being and cultivated compassion at various levels. As we continue to deepen our practice, I'd like to take the amazing example of beloved Reverend Heng Sure and Marty. Here are souls whom, if you didn't know them and read even parts of their Highway Dharma letters, you might start thinking of them both as superheroes at such a young age to have committed and cultivated at such deep levels unimaginable for most humans. And yet, did that sound like a Marvel commercial? And yet, after hearing and reading these stories and meeting Reverend Heng Sure for the first time, I felt like I was meeting my high school buddy. I didn't expect the word dude to come out of his mouth. Seeing him in action with his puppets and his voices and his singing, I was in disbelief that he can have worked so deep within, yet still live with a great lightness. To me, this is the goal. Deep cultivation with great lightness and as little residue as possible. And I apologize if that sounds like a TV commercial for dishwashing soap. Deep cultivation, great lightness, and little residue. Master Hua shares, as he leaves the physical realm, I came from empty space, and I will also return to empty space. His wisdom teaches us to tread lightly. And this is why I ask you to find your inner child and nurture that spirit once again if it has been lost. Okay, so I just wrote a few ideas. How do we spark that inner child in us? For example, always get on your knees when talking to a little child. Make them feel comfortable with you. Added bonus credit points. Talk funny so they think you're weird. Draw poorly, paint, sketch, scribble, but get back to using your art and not judging it. Talk to plants and animals. Joke with them. Treat them like your friends. Again, make funny voices to them. Play a board game and let your competitive spirit come out with mindful compassion. You have to all promise me this. Promise to never, ever take a selfie again. No. Take selfies. Just don't take it without having this ratio of one normal photo to one crazy face photo. Follow an ant on the ground for a minute and send metta to its colony. 1 minute. It's a long time. Here's one that Master Hua would be proud of. When our family member or friend or close one upsets us, angers us, irritates us, be like a child in the sense that come back a few hours later or the next morning and just hug them. They have this burden. The elephant in the room is there that you might still hate them, you might be mad at them, you might be upset, but find the strength to come back like a child who has no memory of the past and just back to square one of love and compassion. Forgive. And this last one, I really want you to join with me. Again, I apologize if I'm breaking protocol. But I want us all to laugh mindlessly out for 5 seconds together. Just to be a child. And do more of that as you continue your journey. I say if we are committed to our inner work, try to loving others and taking it all lightly. Commitment, cultivation, and connection to your inner child. My dear class of 2024, may your journey be filled with less and less suffering as the years go by because of your commitment to your spiritual practices. May those around you feel blessed to have you in their lives because of your everlasting cultivation of your heart. And may you and others feel the great joy and lightness of your inner child due to the deep wisdom you have cultivated of life's impermanence. I share with you one last song before I leave the stage. And once again, bow down to all of your journey and what's to be had in front of you. What a blessing. Thank you. Congratulations, class of 2024. Have your eye on the goal, but then let it all go, for everything changes as you will come to know. Can we start over? I started looking at you guys and I got nervous. I hope I can remember it. I'm like, who am I to sing to you guys? Okay, I hope I remember. If I don't, I don't mind skipping it as well. Let's see. Have your eye on the goal, but then let it all go, for everything changes as you will come to know. Every plan you make and every seed you sow is impermanent. Nothing is ever yours to own. Once you realize this, you will see the truth, that you never were the planter of your own fruits, but accept these gifts, even if you don't know from who, and kindly pay it forward to those behind you. Because ultimately, what we take will always disappear, but what we give will live on for years. So keep giving of your stuff and yourself until your ego has completely melted. Be wary of the impact you want to make. Instead, make sure you are impacted each day. Have your eye on the sky, but still see the ants for the small things of the foundation of all that will last. We move on as time passes by. Let's just hope we move from darkness to light. When we reach the top and we look back, I hope you cry, filled with tears of joy, satisfied. Be careful not to accumulate too many things, because you might just end up with a pot full of greed, and doing likewise can also be deceiving. So I encourage you all to practice just being. Be still, be happy, be loving, be kind, be humble, be magical, be aware, but be blind. Don't judge. See the good in each and every soul. Use your mind when needed, but follow your heart even more. Also, don't forget to thank God every time you fail, because your journey from failure will be your legacy and tale. Remember to feed birds, hug trees, and bow to the sun until you and Mother Nature are one. The last thing is to be grateful for all of your great gifts, for gratitude and suffering cannot coexist. Once you reach this space, every moment will be bliss, and this graduating class will mark your success. We move on as time passes by. Let's just hope we move from darkness to light. When we reach the top and we look back, I hope you cry, filled with tears of joy, satisfied. Last time. We move on as time passes passes by. Let's just hope we move from darkness to light when we reach the top and we look back. I hope you cry, filled with tears of joy, satisfied.